Right around Hundley, he reaches, that ball's out, that's live! Back the other way, Sam Hubbard! The Cincinnati Kid! Hubbard's got a convoy! Chased by Andrews! At the 30, the 20, he will score!
Barkley muscling forward. Barkley, what an effort, and he is in! Touchdown, New York! 4th and 8, game on the line. Cousins, Hawkinson, he is not gonna get there, and the Giants will take over.
This is nothing but that sports talk. You picked the right time to be rocking that Giants t-shirts. I welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. I'm Rafique Louison, Ryan Walker. Yeah, you saw it. For the first time since the last Super Bowl win, the New York Giants have won a playoff game, which highlights literally everything that's been going on in Wildcard Weekend up until this point. Thoughts?
Oh man, yesterday was just a great day. Great day for Giants Nation. We so ahead of schedule this year. I guess I need to pick us to be 7-10 every year, if I can enjoy something like this. But it was very good yesterday. Very special to see them get that. I mean, it's not just a playoff win. It was a big win, but for it being so long and for them having to get into the postseason the first time against a very admirable opponent, the Minnesota Vikings, who are a good team. Who are loaded offensively. They have Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, the tight end. The tight end tore us apart. He was phenomenal. But we talked about that acquisition, and that tells you how good quietly Detroit was, because Detroit gave him away, and Detroit was damn good at the end of this year, and didn't have a problem not scoring points. So, like I said, it was good for them to get that win. A team that's better than them per se, but they felt very comfortable, especially with the Christmas Eve game, playing them so competitive and so close. And remember, I kept pointing at you to say, we don't have Xavier McKinney, who is our captain free safety. During the bye week, he made a very foolish decision. He went to Cabo. Nobody said you can't go to Cabo. Rode the ATV, broke his hand. We haven't had him back since last week. And just his presence over the last few weeks, his presence back in the lineup is key. And Adoree Jackson, our corner, who can now see, there was a reason why Justin Jefferson didn't have a big second half. You understand? And besides the fact that you make adjustments and do certain things, and it's all about, is he open? Is the quarterback going to throw? There's a lot to it, but still, in schematically whole realms, there's a reason why he didn't do anything in the second half. And this is what happens when you have your frontier players there in order to do so. The Giants are clicking at the right time. They're playing really good football. Daniel Jones might be turning into... Daniel Jones is playing really good amongst our eyes, right?
He almost played nearly a perfect game, too. He almost played a perfect game.
Oh, there goes my Deb. Hey, Deb.
Sorry, I had to jump in there.
Trying to finish this point.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You should have told me Deb was... Hey, what the heck are you talking about, Feek? Feek the Freak. Feek the Freak.
Listen. I thought you were going to... I didn't think mine was going to move it up to today, okay? I didn't think it was going to...
No. I think Rafique the Freak went out last night and was still drunk after the first playoff game, so he's still kicking out some of the kinks.
I do not drink. I do not smoke. Stop that.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's a good part. Listen, that's
good. Welcome aboard,
Deb
Whitcas.
Thank you.
We'll get your thoughts in a minute. We'll get your thoughts on the war that we Giants fans and Eagles fans about to have this Saturday night. Let's say something, right?
I'm in Giants colors. I didn't even think about it. Lightning might strike me down. Go ahead.
We'll get to your point. Ryan, continue talking.
You could be trying to set us up too, so we're not going to be bad about that one. The blue could be my choice by accident. Hey, listen, no, they played Deb is right to say I'm looking at some of this Toronto score, and boy, I don't even want to talk about it.
Don't. We're talking football. Outside of our team, yes. Don't get the force overtime. Don't talk about the next game, please.
Yeah, leave that one alone. So he's really turning into a really good quarterback amongst our eyes. But Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, but Brian Daboll and his presence on this whole entire football team is just superlative. Like, I've been a fan for a long time. I just haven't seen somebody just this short period of time have such a dynamic impact on the whole team. And
my Manning days.
Yeah, but you see, even with the Eli days, those teams and those staffs had core guys. Like Tom Coughlin was a proven guy in the NFL when Eli was there. You know what I mean? Even before Eli got to play, he wasn't there with him. But Jim Fossil, the Maras, all that stuff. Those are core guys that can grow you along. Daniel Jones has had the most dumbest coaches in the last 3 years in football. We hired Joe Judge as a special teams guy, for crying out loud, to lead the football team. Oh yeah,
we can't forget Ben McAdoo, worst coaches ever.
Yeah, the most dumbest. He benches Eli Manning to start Geno Smith. You need to be fired.
He didn't have much to prove. Eli Manning was past his prime at that point.
It doesn't matter. You keep the streak going just for the streak going. I'm pretty sure there was some days Cal Ripken didn't hit, but they kept him in the lineup. And you don't put him in for Geno Smith. That's gonna save your life? No. Did you just see what Geno just did?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't do that. We've had a lot of bad coaches make a lot of the different coordinators. We've had no offensive line for this kid. He's been my guy said, I didn't know he was that fast. Yeah, he gotta be fast. He's been running for his whole life. He's been running his whole career as a Giant. So eventually you gotta learn how to run away from somebody. And they'll have a good chance this week against the Eagles. The Eagles are by far the better team. They're the most talented team in football. They have the best record in football the whole year. They had a little hiccup time when Hurts was down. When they're all clicking, we know what they are. So, on paper and for reality and for everybody's pick this week. So no matter what we go here in New York, the Eagles are supposed to win that game. But the Giants are playing good at the right time. And if this was ever a time, and here goes the other schematic that's hard. It's hard to beat a team in the NFL 3 times in one season. It has been done. It can be done. But it is difficult to do. That team, they've seen us earlier in Giant Stadium. That's not the same team we have now. And we played them pretty well with kids off the street. You know what I mean? With kids off the street the other day. So the chances and opportunities will be there. They'll have to play a solid game. And this might sound crazy. They'll have to play a little bit even better than what they did this week in order to beat this team. Unless the Eagles play horrifically bad.
Exactly. And let's not forget, as exciting as it was that the Giants got the win, they've had a tough time slowing down the passing offense of Justin Jefferson and then that Dickinson guy. Like you can't play like that and expect to continue winning. We got lucky in that one. It's good that the Giants scored in 5 of the 7 possessions that entire game, because if it weren't for that, we wouldn't be talking. You wouldn't be put on that jersey and fitted right now, Ryan. Seriously.
I probably would have did it anyway. But you know what? That's another thing for the future. Is that my guy asked me about the Giants and what we need to get. He's like, we need to get all the draft picks and just go get receivers. I said, man, you watch football through a small lens. They need more than just receivers. And it's crazy that the guys off the street that they got are actually turning into something. So you can keep Hodgkins for the low and bring him back because he knows the system. You might be able to keep Richie James as a special team player / receiver here and there. You do need to go acquire another guy, but that's neither here and there. What I said, we need linebackers. Like, you might not think so, but we need a guy that can cover a guy like Hopkinson out there. There's a reason why he went for 100 and change. Or what you're like, people just think, you're just leaving him open. Yeah, you guard him. Everything in the NFL is about scheme. It's not just what you see for that 1 second when the ball's being hyped and you're looking at the quarterback. You're not paying attention to everything else that's going on downfield. And obviously, if he was an easy cover, they probably would have defended him. The Giants don't stink defensively, but he is an elite talent at that position. But that's the thing they need to address next year is you attack another corner, you get a corner to store up your corner, your secondary completely, and you get linebackers that not just can hit and go attack the football when a guy has the football, but that can cover a tight end down the field, especially since tight ends are hybrids. They're making a lot of plays down the field nowadays. So, I mean, there was a reason why that guy went off for that. I'm pretty sure the Eagles. What's the tight end for the Eagles name? Gorse. Deb, say his name.
Goddard.
There he goes. Huh?
Goddard.
There he goes. Goddard. And didn't he say he grew up? Who he grew up like? Did he grow up a Cowboys fan? No, his name was Dallas, right?
His name is Dallas. Yes.
Dallas Goddard. And he said he grew up a Cowboys fan, but that quickly probably changed in the last year. So, but he's good as well too, and he's a guy that can escape in coverage. So if we're not careful, he can make plays. So to the average person, be like, "Oh yeah, that guy's a scrub." You don't know he can play football, and he can make plays. You're not on a team like that, and you're a scrub. Everybody can play, So.
Well, it's called pro football.
Right, yeah.
NFL football.
Exactly. Okay, now we finish your point, Ryan. I want to get your thoughts, Deb, on another Eagles-Giants playoff matchup after the Giants played against the Minnesota Vikings.
Right. I mean, you guys looked good yesterday. I have to say. I mean, it was going to be a good game between the Vikings and the Giants. I personally picked the Giants. I am not wearing.
Oh, you want to face the Giants? Okay, you don't want.
I mean, I didn't necessarily want to, but I picked Giants to win. I felt like the Viking. I know Cousins always messes up, and that's exactly what happened. I mean that he checked down on that 4th and 8th on Minnesota with the final offensive play, and that's Cousins. And you guys looked good. I mean, Daniel Jones, like I said, almost perfect game. I mean, he's in line with he joined Lamar Jackson and Steve Young as the only quarterback in NFL history to throw for at least 300 yards and rush for at least 60 in a playoff game. So that happened. I mean, Barkley looked really good. I'm a little scared. And you guys, your defense looked great too. I mean, to hold Justin Jefferson like that, that's tough. I mean, he's number one,
The guy's a stud.
Right? So I had, my girl and I, Kelly, were talking last night, who's a huge Giants fan, and we were talking about the game, and she was like, "Are you scared?" And I'm like, I don't know if I'm scared for the Eagles. I'm like, this is going to be a better game than I thought it was going to be. All the Eagles fans are kind of being like, oh, we'll roll over the Giants. I don't think so. I think this is going to be a neck and neck game. I think you're right. The Eagles are going to have to play at their best and then a little more. They've had this bye week. Hopefully they've been working out. And I mean, Jalen Hurts, they're going to be focused. I mean, like I said, they're the number one record in the NFL right now. But yeah, they're going to have to play a really good game, if not one of the best games that they've played.
Exactly. And well, we watched a lot of Eagles and Giants matchup throughout the years. The Giants have not won in Philadelphia since 2013. Well, I know it's but like I'm talking about like nearly a decade since they won at that Lincoln Financial Field. It was literally a glorified field goal contest, but which is literally
which hopefully won't happen during a playoff game.
This time around, it's totally different. You got a young breath of fresh air roster of the New York Giants. When you look at Daniel Jones, he's thinking smart. Well, I think he's throwing a lot less interceptions than he has in previous seasons. He's thinking smart. He's making sure he throws open receivers. It's just a matter of the receivers holding on to the ball. Slayton, I mean, your drop pass almost cost us the game.
Well, and I think he's the right coaching system around him too. Like, with Dable and stuff like that. That has been a key thing this season. And like you guys just said too, you guys are looking good at the right time. I mean, this was the time to step it up. And yeah, I'm really excited for this game on Saturday.
Yeah.
But you see, I don't think it'll take that much motivation to motivate both teams about an I-95 matchup. I mean, this is New York and Philadelphia, which sports-wise are two cities that are not too friendly to each other anyway.
Exactly.
And always in yeah, we're the best of friends until we go to the family reunion and we all got to eat in the same dinner together, But they won't have to get up for this. And here, this is the greatest plot ever. I'm a hardcore Giants fan. Rafique can tell you what I predict their record to be this year.
7-10.
7-10. If they'd have won 7 games and won 10 guys, I would have ran outside naked. Naked. It would have been
like. Come on now.
This is what I said. Everything they're doing is overachieving. They're so ahead of what they're supposed to be. It's scary. And remember, they'll have money next year. They'll have draft picks next year. So now, who knows what happens when now they start organizing their whole dynamic of what they want with the team. But the Eagles have owned the Giants for the last 13 contests. I think they're 12-1 now in the last 13 games, right? We got the Herm Edwards 1970s. We got the Deshaun Jackson. Don't you kick the ball to him, Matt Dodd. Kick the ball to him anyway. Pick
Best
it up.
run on one down.
Don't you? Yeah, 31-10. Of course, 31-10. You can blow it. So 11-12-1 in the last couple of years. We can't beat them. We own them a lick. They annihilated us in the first game at home. It was a closer one with the third string and the kids off the street in the last one. We're gelling at the right time. So listen, on for Vegas, there's no way the Giants supposed to have a shot in this game. They're supposed to get blasted. But a buzzsaw and playing with house's money is the best money because we don't really have nothing to lose. We are supposed to lose. The most pressure is on the big dogs. And here's what we're going to have to hope for. We're going to have to hope that the bye week didn't give them time. Your players are going to be rested and healthy.
Right.
But in-game rep and time is different. And that's something that we had to see work out with the Giants this week too. We didn't play our starters.
Right.
They could have came out flat. And then it would have been, man, you should have played your guys last week in a meaningless game. So that always goes one way. We got to hope that they come out flat and that we can put a little fear in the system and the heart and then now become a game. And then now, once everything's a little close, now you could get inside. And if we could do that and we get out of this game, I'm telling you, I don't care what nobody will tell me. I don't play if they play Space Jam, the Niners, the LeBron's team, whoever. This might be the year we go for another parade because they don't have no business, none whatsoever, winning on this Saturday.
Same thing you thought in 07 and 2011. I knew. I mean, as a high school, I remember watching as a high school kid. I mean, which is Kedansi, by the way. I said to everybody, the Giants are going to win the championship, and I would never been more right in my life back then. Yeah. And hopefully, I'm sensing that Cinderella run. I'm sensing that Cinderella story for the New York Giants. Imagine, imagine at least make it to the NFC title game after making it no better than 6 wins within the past 5 years. Ryan,
man, you can't beat a team like you. If you play this Eagles team this week and you beat them and you don't at least get to the Super Bowl, even with that not necessarily being the goal, man, it's a hell of a disappointment. You can't. You know how good this team is?
Ridiculously good.
Yeah,
but they have to do a good job of slowing down the deep. They have to do a good job of slowing down the passing offense. That's what almost killed them in the last game.
They have to keep hurting.
If you're not scoring 5 possessions out of 7, we lose the game.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait. I'm going to probably have no nails by the time it's 12 o'clock because Scott has like 700 touchdowns against the Giants. He's regular against everybody else. Everybody else, he's regular. The Giants come, every record in the touchdown book goes against for him. So, these are the things that I'm just going to pay attention to on Saturday as well, too. That's going to be a very interesting football game.
Yeah, exactly. But Deb, let me ask this one question. How important is the Giants-Eagles rivalry in the NFL?
I mean, I think the Eagles-Dallas rivalry is a little hotter. I mean,
and nobody likes them.
We don't even let our family date Dallas people. So we're Dallas fans when it comes to the Eagles. Literally, it's my uncle's rule for his daughter. She's not allowed to date a Dallas fan. Doesn't care anything else. He's a Dallas fan.
What you expect?
But I mean, there's definitely a rivalry between the Giants and the Eagles. Obviously we're NFC East rivals, but I don't think it's as bad as Dallas. You guys hate Dallas
Yeah.
too, so we're
Yeah.
kind of in that common bond there. And I had this conversation last night too. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. If the Eagles aren't in, I'm always going Giants. Like next. That's kind of my and always I live in LA too, so I like my Rams and I like my Chargers too. But I have a lot of friends who are Giants fans. You guys are like an hour away from us, 2 hours away from us, so I feel like
Interstate.
you know what I mean. I've been to the Meadowlands numerous times, and yeah, like I'm cool. I'm cool with the Giants. If it's not the Eagles, I want the Giants in. But
Exactly.
I'm not sure if I'm the norm though. So
That's exactly what I'm talking about. See, you're a good example of how to get along with Giants fans, even if the fans based in Terrell don't get along with each other. You're a perfect example about that.
And I think when it all comes down to it, it is just football. Like, and I think the whole Damar Hamlin incident this season showed us that. So when it comes down to it, it is just football, and that's crazy that I'm saying that because I love football. But it's legit. So
what the hell happened to the Chargers?
I don't know.
What the hell?
What happened with that game?
The Chargers choked the Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. That's what happened.
Wow.
I mean, they're the largest postseason comeback.
He turned on the Jets. Seriously.
Well, and I think Peterson had a lot to do with that too. Like he started coaching better, and they started they went for it. They started converting on multiple fourth downs. Peterson called that 2-point conversion after Jacksonville cut the lead. It was like 30-26 or something. And I think most coaches would have done 1 point, and he went for the 2, and that was the difference in the game. That's why they won that game. So.
Jacksonville. First of all, I was elated. First of all, I am tired. I told you that I am tired of seeing the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs. I am tired.
God, right? We are too.
But the Titans did beat the Patriots at 1 point in the postseason, like long time ago. He did. He ended Tom Brady's Patriots career. Let's not. You can't get past that.
Please, no. I got a guy that was a Tennessee fan forever, and I seen his Instagram, and he was at a game watching the Giants game, and I said, "Oh, don't think I forgot in college you was such and such." I said, "You switched over." Now he said, "I switched over a long time ago." I said, "Good choice, because you don't live in Tennessee, okay?" And it's not working out. Jacksonville is young and upcoming. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence is a really good young quarterback with Doug Peterson with great tutelage behind him. And let me tell you something that I watched with the Jacksonville Jaguars, because even us, I think the Giants beat the Jaguars, and we had to stop them on the 1 yard line, if I'm not mistaken.
1 yard line. Yeah,
right, to actually win the game. And I had a Cowboy fan send me a text. One of my good friends, we don't even bust jabs like that, but he jabbed at me one time the week we lost to the Detroit Lions, and I absolutely laughed because. Is it me or eye test even right now? Does Detroit Lions look like a better football team than the Dallas Cowboys? I'm just asking you guys.
No.
They don't.
You don't all right. In the last 3-4 weeks of the season, who played better football? The Detroit Lions or the Dallas Cowboys?
The Detroit Lions.
Actually, no, you're right. The last 4 weeks, you're right.
They lost 1 game in the last 9 weeks. So I'm not telling you who's playing tomorrow or tonight, excuse me. I'm telling you in the last 4 weeks when you watch football, and Deb, you're great, you got a show. The Lions played way better football than the Dallas Cowboys do, and they look better eye test. Aaron Rodgers not playing right now.
Yeah.
Their season ended.
True. That's true.
And they said, we're going to send you home, and their future is bright. I'm scared of them. They whooped our butt in the Meadowlands. Whooped us, and then came back 3 weeks later and whooped the Jets' butt too.
Ryan was at the game. He saw it in person.
That was funny. We were both like silent when you just said that. We're like, oh wow, wait, he's right.
Yeah, I know they kicked our butt. I watched them. I said, man, this Lions team, they're really good. They defend. They believe in Dan Campbell. Goff has found a home. He's got targets. They making plays. Future is bright. But so he clowned me at that time for losing to the Lions. And what I always tell you, Feek, I said, it's not
always about who you play.
It's how you play, how they play when you play them. You can play a bad team. but the bad team won 2 games in a row before you played them. And so now they're playing good and they play you and beat you. And now it's 3 games in a row. So they say, oh, you lost to a bad team. Yeah, they won 3 straight. So my thing to say was, one, when you clowned me for that, I said, wow, don't you feel pretty bad? Because the Lions are a really good team. And then the Dallas Cowboys went and lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Got embarrassed. And this was my point to say about Jacksonville. They have found a way this season for every time you think it's the darkest time of the game and they should lose, they find a way to win. You should not be down 27-0 to win. They had a game this year where they had 4 turnovers in one game and still won. The game against the Cowboys, Trevor Lawrence scrambles, gets hit, fumbles the football. The Cowboys get the ball, do nothing with it. The Jaguars get the ball back, come back, and then in overtime, I think Dak Prescott threw the interception.
Yeah, we saw
and
that.
The Jacksonville Jaguars came back and won the game. So
Right.
I'm telling you like this. I didn't know the Jaguars won until Sunday morning when I got to work. I thought it was – I stopped after 27-0. I said,
right, and I am with
done.
you too. Well, and Trevor, I mean, you just said, 4 turnovers. Trevor had 4 turnovers in the first half. He had a horrible first half. He had 7 turnovers the entire season, and then he had 4 in that one game. And then the halftime, whoever was it, Kaylee was the sideline reporter, and Doug Peterson was like, we just have to keep trekking, we just have to keep going. And basically, he went in there and told the players to just step it up, and that's what they did. And then it was like a new football team out there when they came out for the second half. So yeah, I mean, they were trailing 27-0 and won the game.
Yeah, these Jaguars are just so unpredictable, and they got to go to Kansas City. The last time they played Kansas City, you know what happened? They lost. But you know what? Jacksonville should have Patrick Mahomes figured out after the way they played him in the regular season, because that's why it was just regular season.
I'm pretty sure Andy Reid is probably going to prepare them and say, guys, I don't care how great Patty, you the man, Patty Mahomes, but we're probably going to have to play the Jaguars for a full 60 minutes. It's probably not good at any point to kind of let up, because if this team gets a little bit and I got the Kansas City Chiefs win, I got them going to the bowl. But if this team lets up, they're just so scrappy that they're just going to keep clawing, and that's the worst thing that you want to happen right now. They another one of them little buzzsaws that they going to fight before they just go quiet in the night. And that's going to be interesting epilogue too, because those are some of the last Philadelphia coaches, right? Andy Reid had his time, and Peterson had his time.
Yep.
Right. So
Peterson
that's
the Super Bowl win, and Andy Reid is one of the best coaches ever.
Yeah. So that they might fight like Itchy and Scratchy. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and too, who would have thought that? I didn't expect the Jaguars to beat the Chargers. So I mean, this could be another upset too.
Yeah, without question. And you know what? While we're on the subject. And you know what? To continue the AFC conversation, you mentioned fighting and scrappy. How about the Miami Dolphins? They did a lot better than I thought.
I agree.
Even though they did, I mean, if they had converted on the 4th down, they probably would have won that game against the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
I was impressed.
Yeah, Buffalo wasn't looking that great, and I actually have them in Super Bowl, so we'll see. But no, I was in.
Yeah, the offensive line is kind of shaky.
Yeah, and I was
impressed
with Skyler.
I can't believe it. I was impressed. I didn't even think they should have been in the game, and they, like Rafique said, they fought all the way through.
At one point, but Buffalo ain't going down like that.
They almost did.
They can get Tua healthy for a whole year. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows indeed. And very next matchup. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. How about the defensive stop of Baltimore? Lamar Jackson tried to dive into the end zone, and then it fumbles it, and then this Cincinnati kid just brings it back all the way for the touchdown at 98 yards. Like, what are your thoughts about that? Starting with you, Deb.
I mean, Sam Hubbard.
Come on, man. You gotta give him credit for that.
That man ran 17.
The Bengals put in an amazing defensive play. Did a boneheaded mistake by Lamar Jackson.
Yep. Well, I mean, everybody was blaming the quarterback. It was who was it? It was
Huntley. Was that Huntley?
Yeah, it was Tyler Huntley was playing. But there's been several reports that it wasn't his fault. So the wide receiver was like, I should have had that ball. But no, Sam Hubbard, man, killed it. I mean, he was going 17 miles per hour. This is a defensive guy, okay?
Yes.
Running the field like that. And yeah, I mean, it was fourth quarter. Yeah, Logan Wilson, I guess, poked the ball away from the Ravens quarterback, and then it says here he traveled 123.6 yards.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was the longest distance traveled by a ball carrier on a touchdown during the entire season. So yeah, he killed it. I saw him later with oxygen on. I'm like, give that man as much oxygen as he needs.
Mm-hmm.
It was an insane play. Definitely won the game.
Yeah, one of the best plays we saw this weekend. And well, we got to give Cincinnati credit where credit's due. I mean, they were the runner-up of next year's National Super Bowl champions. Now they're going to go up against the Buffalo Bills. And this is literally a rematch of the game that didn't get completed because of the DeMar Hillman situation. And while we're on the subject of that, like, how do you feel about seeing another Bengals and Bills matchup, like literally 2 or 3 weeks removed for the DeMar Hillman situation?
I mean, I was bummed not to see it in the first place. So I'm, obviously it didn't need to be played, and absolutely the NFL, the coaches, everyone made the right decision because DeMar's, health is all that matters. But I think this is going to be a really good matchup because people are still, kind of thinking of that game and thinking of DeMar because, he's doing well, but still has a way to go. And I think, the Bills are going to play for him too. So, I want to see the Bills in the Super Bowl because of him for sure. So
What's so interesting about that too, and Josh Allen is an absolute stud.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a poo-poo on Josh Allen's on parade, but as dynamic as he is, sometimes he has a propensity to turn the football over. I mean, that first interception, it's like, where are you throwing it to? And then he had another. He can't turn the football over this week. Not this week. This week against Cincinnati. Cincinnati won about 22,000 games straight in a row. How many games in a row Cincinnati won now, Rafique?
I believe they 4-1 the last few seasons after not winning a playoff game prior to last year's Super Bowl run.
But in general, he can't. I like Buffalo, and if the Giants don't make a good run, and we have a tough opponent to play this week, so it's not unrealistic to say that the season will be over by Monday, even though we hope the season will go on. But Buffalo is actually the realistic New York chance of making a deep run, even though I still pick Kansas City to go to the bowl. But if he turned the ball over like he turned it over against the third string quarterback from the Dolphins, against Joe Burrow and that defense, the ball, Sam just ran 90,200 yards. He can't turn the ball over. He cannot be that guy that turns the ball over. In the last few weeks, he's been turning the ball over.
Yeah, they got to. Yeah, Josh Allen has to take care of the ball if the Bengals are going to be. If the Bills are going to be successful and have a deep run, and not to mention when you get past this one. Well, obviously, because the one game between the Bengals and Cincinnati didn't get completed, the AFC title game will take place at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So, neutral site in full effect, which is pretty much the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl.
Right. What did you guys think of the San Fran game? That's my...
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we knew San Francisco was going to win that one. That's no surprise. But I will give Geno Smith credit for the effort he put in the first half. I mean,
would you stop it?
They even had a good.
It was better than I thought it was going to be. It was back and forth.
But then again, it's Dale Jones' first time in the postseason either. So, what's your excuse not to put up a good fight, Geno Smith? Oh, I forgot. You lose to this dude named Taylor, and then the 49ers have been stupid hot after the Christian McCaffrey trade.
Listen, God bless Geno Smith. He's a black guy. He's a brother. He can play the quarterback position. He's not a scrub.
You wouldn't be in the playoffs if it wasn't for that field goal against the Rams.
Yeah. Right. And, hopefully he gets a decent little take care of his family and all that. But he has once again, he did a lot of things good this year. He played really decent football this year. Okay, so I'm getting all the positives out the way.
Who would have thought after Russell Wilson left that the Seahawks would even be close to a postseason? Who
Correct.
knew?
Him?
Geno Smith.
But
yeah, exactly.
he has once again shown why. If we get on Kirk Cousins so bad, and Kirk Cousins definitely has way more talent than Geno Smith does, I know that for a fact, right? If we got on Kirk so bad, then we got to get on Geno too. Like, it was so comical to hear him say that he took it personal when he played, and I get it. He played the Jets, the Chargers, and the Giants, right? Those were his ex teams, and I think the Seattle Seahawks beat all those teams this year, if I'm not mistaken. And I said, well, would you take it personal when you play San Fran? Because they're kicking your butt like the episode of Full House, and you're talking to me about the 3 teams that cut you when one of them drafted you. You started off okay on a bad team and then played egregious for the rest of the years for them. So they're probably going to let you go for a reason. You only played as a Giant because Ben McAdoo's a fool.
And he played horrible in Oakland. I remember that.
So it's not like the Giants screwed you. They actually gave you a job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A backup, a Hall of Famer. And an idiot made a bad decision, so you played, so we screwed you. Okay. So then the Chargers screwed you too, right? So 10 years, it didn't work out, but Bryce Purdy is winning football games. Stop it. I don't want to hear anything about Geno Smith. I don't want to hear nothing about that. I want to hear about Tom Hanks in Seattle. I want to hear about the defense for Seattle. I want to hear about that the Mariners might win 100 games. But I don't want to hear nothing about Geno Smith. Nothing. 11 years? Stop it.
It took 11 years to make the playoffs. Crazy.
10 years and now going in his 11th year, and we're worried about him. No, Purdy's winning games. There's young guys that have flourished. He's not that guy. He's going to be a backup and a starter on a team that basically doesn't have somebody better than him. Somebody better than him comes there, he's not the starter anymore.
And the crazy thing is, we had a lot of first-year playoff quarterbacks in this year's playoffs. Like, seriously.
There was a lot. I think there was 10.
So what's Geno Smith?
10.
Four?
Wow.
4, 10.
What's Geno Smith?
Wow.
I mean, the only quarterbacks that experienced this year's postseason, obviously, Josh Allen and
Tom Brady.
Right. And Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
What do you think about this game tonight? Yikes.
Yeah. I'll give ESPN credit for building up this game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, Tom Brady owns the Cowboys, so I'm sensing I'm sensing something bad happening to the Cowboys tonight. If you want my thoughts and reaction to the Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just watch the next episode.
Yeah,
go ahead, Deb. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I think Tom Brady has proved himself time and time again in the playoffs. He seems,
you can't sleep on this kid.
The Bucs didn't look so great this season, but it's Tom Brady, and never, never put Tom Brady out of your thoughts on playoff contention, because I think the Bucs are going to take it.
And it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get this victory with the Cowboys.
You know how sad it is, Freak? Like, the Cowboys are definitely on paper and in real life. And I guess with the eye test, even with the Cowboys beating Carolina a couple weeks ago, the eye test, I guess the Cowboys are playing better football. But the Cowboys are better. The Cowboys should win this football game.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen. They definitely, if they ever click that switch to remember that they're actually a little good, then they'll have us all upset. I mean, listen, I'm waiting for them to fall on their face. But I'm waiting for I'm just waiting.
It always happens too.
Yeah, eventually.
They're a little better than better. Like, they're better than a little better.
No, they're really good. They're really good. Micah Parsons is elite. Diggs is not. It might get smoked, but he's an interception machine. Yep. They have the Lawrence also in the interior who can attack the quarterback. They haven't been getting a lot of sacks the last few weeks, but these are special guys that are on the football team. Pollard is good at running back. Zeke might not be the Zeke from 4 years ago, but with Pollard, Zeke can make plays. Dak's not a scrub. He might not be the guy he was 5 years ago. He might be laboring with some things, but there's talent there. CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, the tight end is good. I mean, the coach might not be, but there's a lot of other parts that are really good on the team, and they're talented. But there goes that man.
Yep.
There goes that bad boy over there. number 12, who's like, yeah, the whole team is better, but you know who you got to play, right?
Tom Brady. Without
Tom
question.
Brady.
Exactly. Both our teams, and we should know because both our teams had a tough time against Tom Brady in the postseason throughout his career. I mean, but
we beat him.
we did beat him too. Thank God. Thank you, Lord.
Good thing.
Barely.
Because that's how you know it's not easy to be a Tom Brady-led team.
Yo, you know what's so great? She said barely. She's right. You know Tom Brady is about 11 points away from winning all them Super Bowls?
Yep.
11 points total.
I think that I lost my breath when I watched him throw the Hail Mary. I tell the story all the time. Hail Mary to Gronk, and literally watched the ball fall because I wasn't sure it was going to fall. Thank God it fell and we won, 41-33. But if not,
listen, we had to have the greatest coaching performance in history and have to have Eli avoid 2 sacks that we don't even know if they would have called dead play at another time, but we know it's not going to be dead play anymore. And David Tyree had to catch it off his head.
And we and Ryan talked about this last summer. I remember watching 60 years old. I was hoping the guy was like, "Do not drop it. Do not drop it." David Tyree.
And then a couple plays, I think after Eli almost threw an interception to Asante Samuel, almost was sick. I just could have just fainted. I could have fainted. And they find a way to go score the touchdown. We only won by 4. Then and he still tried to make a drive to go down the field and score. We had to do everything on 4 downs just to stop him, to go from there. We played him again. Mario Manningham had to put every piece of his toe on the side of the sidelines to catch the pass that Eli threw that only that one time in history would ever work. That's one of the greatest passes in Super Bowl history. And we drive down the field to score. He still tried to make an attempt. And this is the most mind-bogglingest one. The guy threw for 515 yards in the Super Bowl and lost. I'm done. 515 yards? And if he didn't drop the touchdown, because they threw the ball to Nick Foles, just caught the touchdown. The Eagles ran the same play. Nick Foles just caught the ball. He dropped the ball. So he dropped the touchdown that would have won the Super Bowl. So not even to talk about the fact that the Atlanta Falcons was down 400 points and he won that Super Bowl too. So I don't like to play with that man. I don't like to play with him at all.
I don't like to play with him either. And I know Atlanta fans are going to hear you talk about this. And you know what? I once had an in-arena host for the Seattle Mariners. I trolled her about the Seahawks losing that Super Bowl to the Patriots. That dumb play.
That was the most horrific call.
Wait, what was this?
Remember when they didn't run it with Marshawn Lynch? And they tried to throw that slant pattern
but then Russell Wilson went for that pass and he got picked off in the end zone.
That's right.
Yeah, Devin McCourty got the interception, got all the commercials after that, made a lot of money, and been layering on the Patriots ever since. So that was very interesting. Boy, he never gonna live that one down.
Never gonna live that one down, indeed. All right, now let's get to some WNBA news that just happened yesterday, and it involves the Connecticut Sun. And this trade is unlike any other trade. I mean, they've done trades with Liberty before, but nothing like this. The Liberty pick up Jonquel Jones. Thoughts, Ryan?
I don't even know how we got that lucky. When you told me, I had to. I couldn't believe it. I've been looking into a lot more.
Dallas Wings.
Yeah, she's a dog, man. She's that was my first thing remembering. She gave us fits personally per se what she does, and we got a girl that could just get the ball and get a bucket. And remember, we were always talking about like we missing that, especially with Elaine's going to be back a lot more healthy and better as well too. But it looks like that, even with the young lady acquisition from Dallas, they're clearly seeing that they have to add a little bit more pieces and depth to the team to try to actually win a playoff series this year and maybe make a run, right? I don't think they're just doing this to be a lottery team.
Yeah, exactly. They traded away the sixth pick, Rebecca Allen, to the Connecticut Sun, and then they traded away Natasha Howard and Crystal Dangerfield to the Dallas Wings to get those players. So
Correct.
We're probably not going to get. I mean, the Liberty probably would not have got nobody with that 6th pick anyway. Connecticut can have it. We got Jonquel Jones. We're going to be at least. I got the Liberty at least a top 4 team in the WNBA after this acquisition. Come on, man.
You bought season tickets? I know you bought season tickets already. I know you're going. I know you're going.
Yeah, funny. Yeah, funny. Yeah, you
Listen, if I wasn't at the summer league all day, I'd be there. I got no problem with it. I'm not like one of them chauvinistics. I'll go to the games. I love to see the ladies. Ladies' night. Got to play ball.
They're
Make a hoop too.
Yeah, they're legit. They're good.
Yeah.
I don't cover WNBA, but everyone's like, you should.
Yeah, you gotta cover the WNBA, Deb Whitcas. Trust me, I covered it for 3 years virtually.
Yeah.
I covered Jonquel Jones in the last 2 seasons. So well, I always ask the questions about after every game, like preparing for games. I mean, I talk about her performance and her team performance during games and how she stays focused.
Mm-hmm.
Watch my interviews with Jonquel Jones on my Instagram page. You get a sense of the interviews that I've had with her.
Mm-hmm.
And Deb, you definitely gotta look at the cover of the WNBA. With all your experiences and the Emmy awards you got, you definitely get your foot in the WNBA door. Ari, Christina, everybody in WNBA will be happy to have you. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, no, I've been told I have to get, and I definitely got more into with the whole Brittany Griner situation. I definitely started to focus a little bit more. But no, I've been told that, and the ladies work really hard. You know what I mean? I think they work harder than the men do, because they kind of have more to prove. I feel like that's just general women in sports in general. We all kind of work even harder. So.
It's not always
the whole the dynamic with the women's game, and Deb's probably got that true Philadelphia soul when she's so blue collar. She's like, football. Baseball, that's it. I don't care about nothing else. You know what I mean? But no, I mean Philadelphia.
I do.
With their
I
city.
do care, but no, you're right.
They're so blue collar.
My loves.
Really, but
and hockey.
I think. Your Flyers.
I am Flyers. I like NASCAR too.
The WNBA game the women's game has its positives as well too. There's always such interesting. The ones they're not as positive about it always have such interesting ideas per se. But you know what? Deep down in anything, not just so much more the sex, whether male or female. When you follow sports and you follow athletes and you know what it takes for them to do and perform at a high level, whether you're a bowler, a basketball player, a ping pong player, lacrosse, Yahtzee, chess, soccer, like when you know
and the
what they do.
Yep, I've seen it across the board.
You respect the art form so much more differently. Like I don't want to even go off topic, but when the World Cup is on, and I watch soccer, I'm not the avid guy that knows all 97 of the outside leagues with the UEFA and all that stuff that follows all of that through. So when it does get down to the fourth year for the World Cup, I know, hey, I won't know that, but the World Cup, I know the game of soccer. I played it myself. My son played soccer, so been around it 100%. I sat there with one of these guys, and the World Cup is such an international game because soccer is and the World Cup is a globally international platform. Throughout the year, do the people in the United States of America care about the World Cup? No. They have all their other sports that are normally going before the fourth year, before that even comes there. And football, basketball, baseball, that's always going to be the thing here, right?
But that's just here.
That's just here.
In the world, I feel like soccer is the sport as well as
100%.
It's the number one sport, but then
100%.
soccer is right behind it. So I think the U.S. is weird.
Right. And those are there's probably other demographics and reasons why it's like that too. You know what I mean? And that's a whole different other, story and conversation. So, but when I said to some of the guys, it was a Haitian guy there, a Jamaican guy, and somebody else. And I said to them, let me ask you guys a question. How do you sit here? And I said, I can do it, so I am not that hater. I'm just giving you the perspective from somebody who does have that look at it. How can you sit here and watch this soccer game, right, for possibly an hour and a half to 2 hours, right? Because remember, it's 90 minutes of time. You have it, whatever extra time that gets during the stoppage of game, because remember the game is consecutive. There's no, so they play the dead time at the end of each period, and then so I said, how can you watch that for 2 hours and tell me, and then the game could be love, 0-0, and then go to a shootout and somebody could win 1-0, and you can tell me that that's not boring. But if you watch the baseball game and you sat there you would say to me that that's boring, but you just sat here and watched this for 2 hours and you're telling me that's not boring and nobody scored a goal. Now, I'm a purist, so I can understand the art form and the poetry of a sport. So I understand why it wasn't boring, because I sat there too. But I'm just telling you, that's the perspective you have. I've spoken to people that have told me that basketball is boring.
Really?
Yeah. That just maybe not into it. You know, I remember sometimes, whether we want to be realistic or not, sports is a cultural thing. You don't have 25 black kids from the inner city watching the MLB. It's just what it is. They're watching the basketball and they're watching the NFL. But you will have 50 kids of Latin descent that are watching the MLB. And that's just the reality of sports. So I said, I think that sometimes that's just more what your attention span can watch. Because if you really understood baseball, you would understand that how watching it is a beautiful poetry in motion. And then if you understood all the decisions the manager, the first base coach, the catcher, and everybody have to make into one pitch in baseball that you probably not even thinking about, because you can only see the sport for this, then like baseball is a chess game too. So there's so many other things that are going on to making everything happen, but you can't see that because you're saying the sport is boring. We sit here. How many basketball games have I watched for 3-4 hours?
Too many.
A lot.
How many NFL games? The NFL game starts at 1:00. If the game is over, it's over at 4:30. You sat your butt on your couch for 3 hours and sometime more. What if overtime happened?
I spent more time than 3 hours yesterday. I actually saved somebody in my elevator too. A woman got stuck, and I was like still watching the game as I was with the firemen.
Time. Get her out, make the tackle, get her out, make the tackle. Like
they were watching it too. Well, they got her out, and they were like taking glances at it.
Yeah.
And you know what? On one subject of that, I once had one of my friends actually literally said, when I told him the WNBA is so important, he said not to be. And then I told him, then he said, "Oh, I watched a couple of games," and I told him, "What you think?" And he was like, "I'm not that impressed."
It's always not cool until you have a daughter.
Really? Yeah.
Right? It's always not cool till you have a daughter or a niece that's playing basketball.
Watch a couple of games. You don't watch it for years. Watch it for 10 to 15 years, and then you can tell me whether or not it's interested.
Like I said, it's always different until it hits home more. And I'm not saying everybody should just love this. Everybody's gonna eat their zone, but it's still basketball. She's just a female. The only thing they're not doing crazy as much as the guys, they're not living above the rim. Okay, but they're still doing everything else in the back. All right, the basketball's a little smaller than life. They're still playing basketball.
They can dunk, but they're a lot of women that can shoot. So what?
They're still playing basketball.
Without question. And getting back to the subject of the New York Liberty, this feature pickup is big for them. I mean, you got somebody that can actually compete. They make a team that can actually compete with the Aces, the Chicago Sky, and the Mystics. So, yeah, and Christina Williams is a word that they're still working on getting Brianna Stewart. Now, Brianna Stewart goes to the New York Liberty, electricity in New York, without question. Electricity in New York, yeah.
No, then the barometer is raised.
Mm-hmm.
She that's still a pipe dream, so I don't want to make myself believe that. But if she comes, then the expectations has changed immensely.
Yeah, without question. Well, that'll wrap up this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Thank you for stopping by, Ryan Walker, and thank you for his appearance, please, Deb. It's always great to have you guys come on the show. I mean, in the next episode, we're going to talk about the results of the Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and as well as many other WBA news that comes around this week or the next few weeks. So, to all the balls out there, get your head in the game.
Bye, guys.